It is impossible to understate the devastating effect yesterday's attack had on Israel, Israeli citizens, and their leaders. Michael Herzog is the Israeli ambassador to the United States. Mr. Ambassador, thanks for joining us. And first, let me begin by offering our condolences on the loss of life in Israel yesterday. And I wonder also if you could put it into perspective a little bit, because I've found that when things happen in Israel, it's such a relatively small country. Everyone knows someone or knows someone who knows someone who's affected by this.
Thank you very much for your condolences. And yes, this is a serious blow to the state of Israel. Hamas waged war in Israel yesterday, an unprovoked attack on civilians. They fired thousands of rockets at Israeli populated centers, and then they breached the border fence and sent in hundreds of armed terrorists, infiltrated almost all the border towns and kibbutzim, and basically murdered hundreds of people. Right now, the official count is at least 700, but the number, we're still counting, and the numbers will probably go up. There was a beach party not far away from the border in Gaza. We just counted 260 bodies. This is unimaginable. This is, as someone said, our 9/11. This is war, and we have to consider it as a war.
The question, and much like the question that was asked in America after 9/11, is how could this happen? How could Israeli intelligence miss the planning for this? Underestimate the capabilities of Hamas to do this? And also, how were so many militants able to breach that barrier?
Well, obviously, there was a serious element of surprise, but I believe the time will come where we will deeply investigate that. Right now, we are at war, and we have to fight this war and win that war. The way they entered our territory was breaching the border fence with explosive charges. Using power glades and also through the sea. We encountered and killed a huge number of terrorists inside our territory. And yes, the time will come to look into what exactly happened. But right now, we are at war.
The time will come, but how can Israelis trust a government after such a failure in intelligence and preparation?
It's not a matter about trusting or not trusting the government. It's a professional question of how come people were surprised by this assault, or probably some misconceptions. But again, the time will come to discuss this. Right now, we have to fight the war.
And as I understand, there is still some fighting in some cities in southern Israel right now. And Hamas says that they're able to send in fresh fighters and bring out tired ones. This raises the question, does Israel really have control of southern Israel right now?
We are nearly in complete control. We eliminated most of their cells inside our territory. There are still one or two flashpoints, but I expect that sooner, perhaps by the end of the day, we'll control all of our territory and nobody will be able to penetrate. The IDF is right now sealing the border once again.
And the Prime Minister and other military leaders in the IDF have promised vengeance on Gaza for this. The last time there was a major ground operation in Gaza, the United Nations estimated that more than 1,400 Palestinian civilians were killed, including more than 500 children. How can you protect or minimize the loss of Palestinian civilian life?
First of all, I'll be very careful about these numbers. These numbers are usually conflated, and usually the Palestinians, they base themselves on Palestinian sources in Gaza. They include hundreds of terrorists who were killed while trying to kill our citizens. So let's be very careful about these numbers. I think we should give it time to understand what's happening. The fact of the matter is Hamas hides its military capabilities behind civilian population. They are using civilian population as human shields. What we are doing, we do not target civilians. When we target militants, terrorists, And when we do that, and when they nest in civilian populated areas, we send warning to the populations to evacuate the area because this is a war zone. And that's the way we've always operated. We are very different than they are.
The former U.S. ambassador to Israel, Martin Indyk, pointed out that in his opinion, the Netanyahu government was more interested in protecting settlers on the West Bank than they were in protecting the kibbutzes near Gaza. What do you say to that?
I don't buy it at all. I think the issue in the border of Gaza was not the number of troops, but it was the element of surprise. I think my advice to everybody, this is not the time to politicize the discussion of war.
Mr. Ambassador, thank you very much.
Thank you very much.